Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Off the Cuff. This is a special edition of Scriptly Adapted where we bring in a guest to talk about one of the movies that we're going to review today. Today's big movie, big blockbuster movie in the movies today is Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder. Great film.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It was good. I liked it. It definitely had some good points to it, but it wasn't overall great.
Okay, well,
I
let's
was
get into
expecting
it.
a little bit more.
We'll get into it a little later, but Kate,
Yeah.
who do we have here? What's going on?
Well, everyone, we have a dear friend of ours. She saw the movie with us, and we're going to have her here, and I'd like to introduce our guest.
Hey guys!
And she brought popcorn.
Popcorn.
My favorites.
Ooh, let me
I thought it was fitting.
Yes.
Hi guys! Let's get into it. Pretty much, Man of Steel, I liked it, but I have to say I was a little disappointed with the acting. I thought the acting was a little mediocre. Henry Cavill, who plays Superman, was great. Physically fit the bill. But I just feel like the acting was a little bit over the top. Except for Michael Shannon. I thought Michael Shannon was great. I think he's great in everything he does.
Right.
But Amy Adams, I don't know. I just
Not
thought it was
even
a little bit...
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe was brilliant. Russell Crowe was brilliant.
I think the actors did a great job of what they were given.
Superman's characters aren't that complex in a way.
Yeah, that's
You have Jor-El, who is the father of Superman in Krypton, played by Russell Crowe, who's an excellent actor. In the movie, you don't get really deep into those characters.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of just surface, especially when they were doing Superman's background. The young boys that were playing Superman or Clark Kent, they didn't really have depth, and I said that during the movie. I was like, I don't feel like they were good actors.
That's true.
I just feel like their characters are more, they were just surface. It was just more.
But that's not what it was about. I think
the story.
it was about them being on
technique.
Krypton and having a life there, and seeing what the backstory was as far as them saving their son. I don't think it was necessarily about him growing up as a kid. I think they highlighted that to show his humanity, but I don't think they wanted to focus on that because that's not what it was about.
Yeah, but I appreciate seeing those, but when you don't have certain actors, when I can't connect with the actor like who's portraying the young Superman, it takes away from that scene when it could be a powerful moment, about his humanity. But then I can't take this boy seriously. I think I was laughing when he was trying to have a moment with the father. I appreciate those moments, but I think I couldn't connect with those moments for some reason. Maybe it wasn't him, it was just maybe the whole overall scene.
Putting big name actors like Kevin Costner and Diane Lane and Russell Crowe helped the legitimacy of what they were going for as far as the story, updating the story, making it a little more realistic in today's times. Even though Superman is an alien, they still tried to make it realistic as far as the themes and people not being ready to accept what you have to offer.
Right.
Like that is a real life theme that they included in I guess you would say almost a sci-fi type of story.
Right.
So I appreciated those big name actors driving that. So we get that.
See, I don't agree. I think having Diane Lane and Kevin Costner kind of took away. I think you should have had no-name actors for the flashbacks. Amy Adams, didn't think this was her best performance, and I am a fan of Amy Adams, but I didn't think this was highlighting her talent at all. But, stuff like that, like Russell Crowe, stuff like that, that's fine. But I think as far as the flashbacks go, it could have just been a regular, like a D-list actress or something like that.
Those two are so big that I would want to see more from them. I think that's why the scenes fell, because I wanted to see more because they are big names.
But to get people in the seats and I guess to have, like I said, legitimacy to the acting and the story, I felt like they had to go that way with getting big names to do it. I love Michael Shannon.
Oh, me too.
I thought his voice...
He's so creepy.
I'm sorry, guys. I thought his voice was weak as
well, because that's Michael Shannon's voice. He's very high-pitched. They should have done something Bane
like. They should have made it Bane, change his entire voice. I just thought it was just weak. His stature as Zod was great. Yeah.
I mean, Michael Shannon was the perfect person to pick that role.
Yeah.
And he's really scary looking.
Zod could have been a little more forceful with the voice. I just felt like his voice was a little lispy. I don't know. It was just a little weird. Sorry, but that's my thoughts. But I must touch upon one thing that I did that helped the movie for me in many aspects was the music.
Yeah.
I am a huge, as you guys know, I've talked about me being a huge fan of the music, and I have to say, Hans Zimmer, once again, delivers. It just drives the story for me. I mean, his score, it's that really deep horn sound. For the most part, it was just really deep and almost in a dark way. Because this story was actually really dark.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, it's the producers are Christopher Nolan, who did the whole reboot of The Dark Knight and Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises. He's producer.
Yeah.
And he had a lot to do with the creative. You could tell. Had a lot to do with the creative.
You could tell he had a stamp on it.
And the writer was David S. Goyer, who wrote all the new Batman movies.
Yeah.
So you will get that sound of the music because that was in those Batman films, and you'll get the feel of that visual and that story of being real and dark, and that's just Christopher Nolan's mind. And it's driven by Zack Snyder's direction, his visual style. He's a very visual director.
I think the music helped me get through it and appreciate each scene.
I love Hans Zimmer's stuff, I really do, but I just kind of zoned out when it came to the music. I don't know, I wasn't really focusing on the music. I think I was focusing so much on how much better I wanted the film to be. Sound editing, and I think that was one of the aspects that I loved about the film, because they had all these special sound effects, and I was watching this little clip about the sound editing, and they were saying how when they had the major fight scene at the end, and they wanted to simulate the sound of crashing through concrete.
Yeah.
And they show you, they went to, this quarry and took, this huge cement piece of a wall, and, dragged it through some rocks and rubble, and that's what simulated the sound of them crashing through concrete. And this other guy went and got some pebbles and a xylophone and a wind chime and put them all in a bucket and dribbled the pebbles on top to make that fantasy kind of sound. And it's so cool to see people working together to use different props
I must say,
to create different things.
I must say, the sound editing was excellent.
Yeah, it was great.
You really got that naturalistic sound of planes flying, or who you said, crashing through the walls, and even him flying.
Yeah.
That supersonic sound.
I paid homage to the old Superman.
I'm a fan of the Christopher Reeve Superman. So
I love the Christopher Reeve.
Oh my god, I love just growing up and watching it. I watched them over and over again. But so coming into this movie, I had to try to separate, but I think it was hard for me. So I think I have to watch Man of Steel again.
Yeah.
Because leaving, I was just like, oh, okay, that was okay.
That seemed to be a lot of people's issue, was going into this film expecting Christopher Reeve's film, but you can't, because it's a whole different take on it.
Yeah.
And you have directors nowadays like Christopher Nolan, who is such a deep thinker.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be darker, but it was just something I think the child in me that Superman.
Yeah.
So then leaving, I was like, okay, well now I have to watch it again with a different lens to really appreciate Man of Steel. I think because I'm curious in where it's going.
It happened with the Batman reboot. When they had the first movie, it wasn't a fan because it was so much backstory. Christopher Nolan, if any of you, which I'm sure you have seen the Batman trilogy, he has a very like dark, almost metallic way of filming.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think
very cerebral way.
But what the metallic does is it kind of conjoins his cerebralness and the darkness that he wants to convey the story in, because it's almost like it's very like chrome looking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very dark and dank, and I think that's great how he shoots it. It's not like the old Superman where it's like airy and blue skies everywhere, and
there's a contrast.
There's a definite contrast. Amber, what did you really like about the film?
Yeah, give us something you liked.
Yeah, what I liked, maybe Henry. I liked the humanity to Superman, like seeing him helping but not able to go again, fight back, and him trying to channel that and knowing that he has something greater to achieve. The scene where the guy's just taunting him and throwing, and just seeing the struggle within him. That I like seeing that side of Superman, because Superman can do anything. But it takes more power not to do something. And I like that they brought that in there. But that was one of my favorite moments.
What was your favorite moment?
Well, I just want to go off that for a minute, because I think that's interesting when you talk about the other Christopher, the Batman trilogy. Batman, I think this is one of the reasons why you love Batman, is because Batman is not a superhero. He's just a regular guy. So that sense of humanity...
But see, that's what you get with these films.
But the thing is, the sense of humanity is already there.
Right.
But with Superman, you don't expect that because, like you said, he can do anything he wants. So that's even more of a struggle for him, and it's more of an accomplishment for him because he is a superhero.
Right.
So I think that's very interesting with a different director. My favorite moment would definitely be the fight scene at the end. I mean, that was just... It was great. It was great. I mean, they were really going at it. But I love the fight scene. It was action-packed, wasn't too long. You heard the real sound editing, which I'm just like a huge fan about on this film. And it was great. It was really great. The movie itself went on for a little too long. I felt like I was watching Lord of the Rings again.
Enjoyed it so much that I didn't mind being there, and I was. It was just one of those things that I was like, it was just one of those things. Yeah, it was just one of those things where I was like, oh man, this is really good. Like this is really good. I enjoyed the music of the film. I enjoyed Hans Zimmer's music. I thought it was just perfect. I'm a huge music nerd when it comes to scores, and when the score is really good, I can just sit through a movie and just like fall in love. I enjoyed Zack Snyder's visual component that he added to the story of David S. Goyer. I thought Zack Snyder directed a really, really good film. It could have been better, but I thought for the first installment of a trilogy possibly, and this being, of course, the backstory of it, and you know it's going to be slow, and you know it's going to be just a lot of story and a lot of build up to what the second and third one will be. I enjoyed what he did with it as far as the direction and taking the screenplay and bringing it to life.
For me, like when the other movies come out, I'm going to come back to this movie and appreciate it more.
Right.
Yeah, because that happened with me and Batman.
Yes,
I watched the other ones and I was like, you know what, let me go back and watch the first one, and it all just came together and I was like, okay.
You really didn't appreciate that because I didn't appreciate Batman Begins when it first came out. I was just done. I was like,
horrible.
What happened? But second one, boom. Crazy. Third one, even better. Then went back to the first one. It was like, okay, now
it all connects. I would say go see it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Go see
Amber
it.
gives her 2 thumbs up.
I give it thumb and a half.
Thumb and a half.
I think I'll join you on that.
I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. There are a lot of huge Superman fans will be like, it was alright.
Yeah.
I was with one the night I saw it. And he was like, oh, it's better than Superman Returns, but it's good. I thought it was good for the first. This is Off the Cuff, our first edition where we have a guest on. This is also our 10th official show.
Yeah, this is our 10th
official show. We got a banner now, popcorn. We're trying to make this real legit.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys for coming. Kate?
Yes, thank you guys. Take care and please stay tuned for our next show. Thank you, Amber, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm so glad. ScriptlyAdapted. I watch it. It's great.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.